right. So I'm going to go first. I'm going to draw a card. I will play this Desert of the Indomitable as land for turn. It enters tapped. And today I'm going to be playing Honest Rutstein. When he enters the battlefield, I get to get a creature out of my graveyard and put it in my hand, and creature spells cost me one less. So I'm going to do Golgari graveyard things. And I will pass the turn to you, dear.
Hello, I am Pez. Today I am playing Mr. Ofero, the Rhinoceros Warrior. Basic Voltron stuff with this guy. My turn, I'm going to draw for turn. And I'm going to play a Racer's Ring. Land comes into play tapped, and I'll pass.
I will draw. I will play a Crystal Grotto, which ETB's to scry 1. That's fine. I can stay there. I'm going to tap this for a Bone Splitter.
Whoa!
Because I, too, am on the classic Voltron plan with this blue card. Everyone thinks blue. They think Voltron. This is a 2-mana 1/1 that can't be blocked. And when it connects, I will either loot to draw and discard, or I will just draw a card if I have Threshold. There's not a ton of axes in the deck, but I did start with one, so that's pretty
Not bad.
neat. And I'm done.
Okie dokie. I am playing Skyward Eye Prophets. This is an oldie but a goodie. Back from Conflux, I believe. 6 mana, a Bant, and 3 generic for a 3/3 Vigilance. I can tap to reveal a top card of my library. If it's a land, it comes to the battlefield. Otherwise, I put it into my hand. This is a deck that is just a lot of dirtily things. We are tapping our creatures to activate abilities. We're untapping our creatures to do other things. There's a lot of fiddliness with this deck. It's very much on brand for me. These are the kind of decks that I love to play. So we're just going to see how it all comes together here. So I'm going to draw for turn. Interesting. I'm going to play a Plains, but that's not all. I'm going to tap and cast a Springleaf Drum. 1-mana artifact, tap an untapped creature to add a mana of any color. I'll pass.
Yeah, I will untap, upkeep, and draw. I'm going to play a Swamp. I will go ahead and pay 2 to cast a Farseek. I will go and get a land, put it onto the battlefield tapped, and shuffle. And that will be my turn.
I'm going to untap, upkeep, and draw. I will play a forest. I'm going to tap the forest to play a wild growth on my Racer's Ring. It says whenever enchanted land is tapped for mana, its controller gets to add green to their mana pool. Tap my Racer's Ring for a green and a green, and play this Fire Diamond. Artifact comes into play tapped, add 1 red mana to my mana pool.
We're off to the races. Goodness me.
And I will pass the turn.
I have a much less exciting turn, too. I'm just going to draw this card that I definitely knew was there. I'm going to play an island, and I'm going to cast a rat. And I will pass my turn.
Alrighty. Untap and draw my card. And oh boy, I'm going to play an island. I'm going to tap this island to cast a larger zombie. So this is one of my favorites. It's a 1/3 defender for 1 blue. I can tap 3 untapped creatures I control to surveil 1. And then we're gonna activate Springleaf Drum, tapping the larger zombie to add a green. We'll tap the plains for white and cast my own Farseek.
Nice.
So we're gonna search for a non-forest land. Let's see, what do I need? Put that on battlefield tapped. And then we'll pass turn.
Seems good. I will untap, upkeep, draw. Let us play a forest. Tap 2 for a Signet of the Arcane variety. And then we will tap 2 for a Voracious Varmint. He is a varmint. He's a 2/2 with vigilance, and I can pay 1 and sack him to destroy target artifact or enchantment. And that will be it for me.
I feel very left out of the ramp party.
Ramp game.
Where's your Farseek?
Skill issue.
Where's your Sky Diamond?
Where is my Sky Diamond?
And draw. I'm going to put into play a swamp. Suppose. Do what we came here to do. No. Tap my 4 mana, leaving my Fire Diamond open, and play a Mr. Ofeo. There's no R.
Mr. Oreo.
Mr. Rhinoceros.
I think there's 1 R?
Yeah, it's Orfeo.
Feo.
But I I keep saying Orfero. But after Rhinoceros enters the battlefield, I'll pass my turn.
I will untap, I will upkeep and draw, play a Bloom Barrel Island. I have no impulse control, so I'm going to poke the bear. I need to attack the guy who has Orfeo in play and online.
Understandable. I will go down to 9, or not 9. I will go down. I will go down.
Hey,
to
if you want to.
29.
This rat hits for
Ev-
21.
yeah, Everyone's gonna be like, "Man, what is that card? That thing's crazy."
I have a trigger on combat damage. I will draw and then discard. You have Encore. I would love to discard this card into my graveyard. I'm going to put a Kite Sail Skirmisher into the graveyard, and I will also, second main phase, I will cast Looter Il Core, which is strangely almost exactly the same card as this. It is a 2-mana 1/1 that is difficult to block because of Shadow, and whenever it deals damage to an opponent, I get to loot. Want to have open mana up, so I'm just going to put the axe on the core.
Yep.
And pass the turn with 5 cards in my hand.
Not bad at all. Alrighty, let's see. I'm gonna play an island for turn. Let's do this. We're gonna pay a white mana and a blue mana and cast an Oreskos Sun Guide. This is a 2/2. When it becomes untapped, I gain 2 life. It is inspired.
He's gonna tap it.
Well, hold your horses. I'm gonna activate my Spring Lift
I'm
Drum
gonna tap it.
and tap it. And I'm gonna add a white mana and tap this for a green and cast a Selesnya Evangel. This is a good example of a card that was recently upshifted in Ravnica Remastered, I believe. So you can have it as your commander or in the 99. It's a 1/2 for Selesnya colors. Pay 1, tap an untapped creature you control to put a 1/1 green Saproling creature onto the battlefield. I am finished. That's it. That's all I got.
Sounds good. I think on the end of your turn, I'm going to pay 1, and honey, I'm gonna blow up your wild growth.
Rude, but accept.
It's the pauper version of it blowing up somebody's soul ring, basically.
Yeah. And then I'll untap, upkeep, and draw. Play a swamp, and I will go green, black, black. And I will cast Honest Rutstein. So when he enters the battlefield, I get to return a creature card from my graveyard to my hand, like the varmint.
The
And
axe
creature
isn't safe
spells-
at all.
And I can creature spells cost 1 less to cast. Pay a singular green to recast my Voracious Varmint. And I think that will do it for me. I'll pass the turn.
I will play a swamp for turn. I think that I'm going to go to combat. Honey, I'm gonna come at you with Mr. Rhinoceros.
I will block with my varmint, and then before damage, I will pay 1 and sacrifice it to blow up the axe.
Rest in peace, X.
Rip
I knew you well.
So for second main phase here, I will go for a forest and a swamp and rampant growth. So I'm gonna search my library for a basic land to put it into play tapped and then pass my turn.
I will untap, upkeep, draw. Interesting draw. Is 4 mana for a sorcery that says draw a card.
Nice.
I'm gonna cast Last Thoughts.
This one's a heater. This is a Derek
it's-
special right here.
I love this card a lot. So Cipher means that as this spell resolves, I'm going to exile it encoded onto one of my creatures. So it's like I'm effectively gonna attach it to this rat. And then every time this rat deals combat damage to a player, I get to cast a copy of Last Thoughts for free. So I'll draw a card on it resolving, and then I will move to combat. And Derek knows that life gain is the thing I cannot abide, so I'm gonna attack him for 2.
You seem to forget that I have not yet gained any life.
I know what's coming.
God damn, I thought I could talk my way out of it. All right,
You're so
I'm
close.
gonna take 2 and go to 28.
Okay, I have 3 triggers.
3 triggers.
I'm gonna draw a card off Last Thoughts. I'm going to draw and discard off of the rat. I will discard Otherworldly Journey. And then I will draw and discard off of the looter. I will discard Artful Dodge. And I will pass my turn with 6 cards in hand.
Seems unfair, but whatever. Whatever. I'm over it. I'm gonna untap my Rescue Sun Guide trigger, gain 2 life, so I'll go back up to 30, and then I'll draw for turn. I'm gonna pay full freight. We're going 5 ball here. We're gonna do the thing again. We're gonna tap the Sun Guide for a white mana, And we're going to cast a Sphinx's Disciple. It's another inspired creature from Born of the Gods. It's a 2/2 flyer. Whenever it becomes untapped, draw a card. It's just free real estate for playing Magic. That is all I'm going to do. I have 2 cards in hand, and we'll pass turn.
I was feeling so ahead, and now I feel ungodly behind. That draw didn't help either. So we'll play Forest. I think we'll just get in while the getting's good. Honey, I'm gonna attack you for 3. Pull Joe DiMaggio's.
I will take 3.
And I'll pass from there.
I'm going to move to combat, double the attack power, and I'm going to commit Dave this time.
I
for 4.
love taking damage. I have no blocks.
So it's just 4, and then after all is said and done,
I will go to 26.
I will cast a Nature's Lower.
Boy, you're just playing all the hits.
Pass my turn.
I'll play land for turn. You know what I definitely don't have enough of right now?
Mana.
Card draw.
Oh.
That was
I
thought
was
that was
thinking the
pretty
same
obvious.
thing.
I'm going to cast Tandem Lookout, and I'm going to soul bond it to the Looter. This is a 3 mana 1/2. You can pair. Soul bond lets you pair any 2 creatures that are unpaired when either enters, and they usually have an ability that happens only if they're paired. So as long as these 2 cards are paired, they both have the ability, whenever this creature damages a player, draw a card.
One of the great downshifts of Modern Masters 2017.
I really want to draw 4 cards. I don't trust that 7 open mana even a little bit. I'm going to send this Looter at Derek, and I'm going to send the Rat at Pez.
Well, I have no blocks, that's for sure.
No blocks for me.
All right, so I'll take one, go to 29.
I have 4 triggers. I'm going to cast Last Thoughts and use it to draw a card. I'm going to draw a card with Tandem Lookout. I'm going to loot with the Rat. Draw.
And they
and then
said you couldn't
discard.
draw cards in Pauper.
I'll discard Mind Spiral, and then I will loot off of the Looter. I will discard Frogify, because I still don't want to be the guy who passes his turn with 2 blue up. I'm going to spend 2 mana and cast one of my favorite cards of PDH, Marching Duodrone. This is a 2 mana 2/2 that gives each player a treasure anytime it attacks. Pass my turn.
On your end step, Dave.
Oh, no.
I will activate my Larder Zombie, tapping 3 untapped creatures to surveil 1. All right, we'll leave that one on top. Go to my turn. I'm going to untap all our lands. I've got a couple triggers. I'm going to gain 2 life from Resco Sun Guide, so I'm going to go up to 31. And then I will draw a card from my Sphinx's Disciple untapping. Draw this. And then I will draw for turn. All right, I'm going to play Plains. Then we're going to pay a blue. We're just going to tap all of my mana here. I'm going to use Springleaf Drum with Sphinx's Disciple. Actually, I'll just use Sun Guide again to add a blue mana. And I'm going to cast my Skyward Eye Prophets. So 3/3 Vigilance, tap to reveal a top card. If it's a land, it comes into play. If it's not a land, I draw it. And then I will pass turn.
We're gonna untap. We're gonna upkeep. We're gonna have big draws.
Big draw.
Big draws. That actually was not bad. We just have to count. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna tap 3. Yeah. Okay. 6 whole menus. I'm gonna cast Dance of the Tumbleweeds.
Alright.
Spreeing both modes. So first I will search my library for a basic land or a desert card, put it onto the battlefield and shuffle, and then I will make an XX green elemental creature token where X is the number of lands I control. Desert of the Glorified. And then I'm going to make a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. An 8/8 green elemental.
Yeah.
Which seems perfectly fine and good and normal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seems reasonable.
Let's send Mr. Rutstein at Dave this time for 3.
No block. I will
So too
take
many
3. I'll go
cards.
down to 23 left.
Can't be up to any good.
And then I will P the T.
Untap, upkeep, and draw. I think we'll just play that out. I'm going to play Bonder's Ornament. I think I'll just stay back for right now. No, just pass.
I will untap. I will upkeep and draw. This thing definitely looks like it's a bad moon, but don't be fooled. It is an island.
I was
the old-
confused there for a second.
The old reverse proxy strategy.
Yep. I'm going to tap 1 island to cast a Mantle of Tides. It's not an axe, but it does a good axe impression. It's a 1 mana equipment. Equipped creature gets +1/+2, and when I draw my second card each turn, I can attach it to a creature for free. or I can spend 3 mana to equip it. I promise I will never do that. I want to move to combat. I'm going to attack Derek with a marching duodrone. I think he's the most likely to not block this so that he can keep getting treasures. I'm going to attack. Let's do the old Kozak split. We'll send one of these guys at each of you. I think the rat is going to visit Oblivion, and we'll send the Shadow Kid at Pez.
We'll take one whole commandy
Take
dandy.
another one.
And no blocks, but we also have all of a trigger to draw or get a treasure here.
Everyone gets
yeah.
1 treasure token. Cast Last Thoughts to draw. I will draw off Tandem Lookout. There are 6 cards in my graveyard, so I'm going to trigger the Looter of Core's ability to draw and discard. So I will draw. I'll discard an island, and that puts me at 7 cards in my graveyard. On my first trigger, I'll put the Mantle here. So when the Looter trigger resolves, I think it checks whether I have threshold as it resolves, not when it goes on the stack. So I think I just get to draw a card.
I think so.
I think
Makes
so.
sense.
So I'll draw a card. So I'll cast Goggles of Night. This is a 2 mana equipment. I can equip it for 2. When equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, scry 1, then draw a card. And I will pass my turn with 7 cards in hand.
On your end step, I'll activate Larger Zombie Surveil. I'll leave that on top. All right, so we'll untap. Got a couple triggers. You're going to gain 2 life. Go up to 31, and I'll draw a card off my Sphinx's Disciple, and then I'll draw for turn. So first thing we'll do is I'll tap these 3 creatures to convoke a Martyr's Soul. So it's a 3/2.
That's
When it
cool.
enters the battlefield, if I control no tapped lands, which I do not, then it gets 2 1/1 counters. So it's a 5/4. We'll pay a blue and a green and cast a Coiling Oracle. So when it enters, reveal top card of my library if it's a land, but on the battlefield, otherwise it goes in my hand. It's a Ledev Guardian. Put that in my hand. I'll tap the Coiling Oracle for Springleaf Drum to add a blue. I'll tap that for a blue, so I've got 2, and I'll cast a Pawn Prophet. So 1/1 ETB, draw a card. Do that, draw a card. Oh boy. Go to combat. We'll attack Dave for 3 with the Skyward Eye Prophets.
I have no blocks.
Haha, gotcha.
I'll go to 20 life.
I'll sacrifice his treasure for a green mana and tap this plains and cast an Elvish Visionary ETB, draw a card. So we'll do that again. And then I will pass turn.
Untap this giant pile of land. I feel like I need to get in on the card draw game. I will
It's a good game.
draw a card.
You just have to assemble a convoluted engine.
Mhm.
Let's see. Play another forest. Lord knows I need it. And I'm gonna send Mr. Rutstein over Dave's way.
I still have no
And-
blocks.
Yeah, we're gonna leave the 8/8 alone. And then
17.
I'll pay 3 mana, and I'm gonna cast Dig Up the Body.
Okay.
With casualty 1. So as I cast this spell, I may sacrifice a creature with power 1 or greater, and when I do, I can copy it. So I will sacrifice Mr. Rutstein, and I will let him go to the graveyard. Yeah. So I'm gonna mill 2 cards, and then I may return a creature card from my graveyard to my hand, and I can do that twice. So
Yep.
I will mill a Basking Capybara and a Swamp, and then I will get Honest Rutstein back into my hand because it just says from your graveyard and not from the cards you milled.
Yep.
And
Yeah,
then
that's
I will
awesome.
do it again. A Dusk Shell Crawler and a Forest. I'll get the Capybara. So we'll pay 3 mana and we'll recast Honest Rutstein. And we will get. So I'll put Dusk Shell Crawler back into my hand. I'll pay a green and I will cast the Dusk Shell Crawler. I'll put a +1/+1 counter on my elemental. And then he'll also have trample. And then I will pay 1 green for my Capybara. And I have 1, 2, 3. I only have 3 permanents in my graveyard at the moment. So he's just a 1/3 at this particular juncture. I'm going to tap my Arcane Signet and I'm going to cast Pick Your Poison. The most expensive common that I own 4 of. I will choose each opponent sacrifices an artifact.
Good night, treasure.
Yeah, I'll let my treasure hit hit the bin.
You're so real for that, because guess who forgot that pretty much everybody had treasures? Me. But that's okay. All right. I think I've taken enough game actions. I'll pass from there.
On the end of your turn, I'm going to pay 4 and tap my Bonder's Ornament to have every person who has a Bonder's Ornament draw a card. I'm the only one so far, so I will draw, and I will untap, upkeep, and draw. We'll play a forest. Gonna go for a little main phase Bonder's Ornament draw. Another forest. Outstanding. We'll just go shields down. Play a Kodama's Reach. I'll search for 2 basic lands. Put one into play tapped and the other in my hand.
At the end of your turn, I'm going to cast Otherworldly Gaze from my graveyard with flashback to Surveil 3. Costs 2 mana, and I will look at the top 3. I will put Sleep of the Dead into my graveyard. I will put Nine-Tailed White Fox into my graveyard, and I will put this card, which could be anything, right on top. Untap. I will upkeep draw. Yep. I put that there. I knew that was coming. Okay, I'll play a land for turn. I am terrified of Derek. There's so much going on over there, and all of it frightens me. Do you have any flyers over there, Derek?
No.
Time to be cheeky? Let's get cheeky. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to encore a Kite Sail Skirmisher for 5 mana.
Nice.
Encore lets me exile this card from my graveyard to create a copy of it for each opponent. Each of those token copies attack each opponent this turn if able, and they have haste.
Oh.
So I'm going to create 3 copies of this 3/1 flyer that when it attacks, another target creature attacking the same player gains flying. I will make 3 flyers that give other things flying. And I will attack... these 2 are already unblockable, so it kind of doesn't matter where they go. Let's send both of them at Derek. We'll send the Duo Drone also at Derek, and we'll send the Lookout at Oblivion, and everyone gets a copy of Kite Scale Skirmisher, and the Skirmishers are going to give the Lookout flying and the Duo Drone flying. Yep. So Derek gets all of this, Oblivion gets these 2, and Pez gets just this.
And everyone gets a treasure.
Yes, I'll make a treasure. Thank you for the reminder.
3, 4, 5. So I'll take 8. I'll go to 23.
All of these tokens are going to get exiled, and I have, well, I guess before that I have a million triggers. Draw off the Looter. I'll draw and discard. Sure, I will discard this island. And then I'll draw off Looter's Soul Bond. I'll draw off the Tandem Soul Bond. I'll draw off this Looter. I'll draw off this Last Thoughts. And then I'll move to discard step with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 cards in my hand.
Crash them. Get them out of here.
Get them out of here. We'll discard Defy Gravity. I think the utility of Ophidian Eye is gone at this point. I don't think I need more of those. Discard Nagging Thoughts without paying its Madness ability.
Oh boy.
Don't need more cards in hand. I'll discard Confound. Okay, we're back to 7 cards in hand.
All right.
And I am...
Well, on your end step, we're going to activate the large zombie surveil. I'm going to activate Scarlet Prophets, reveal top card in the library. Idyllic Beachfront, it's a land, so I'll put it on the battlefield. Enter's tapped. And then I'll go to my turn. Untap, I draw a card and gain 2 life, so I'll go to 25. I'll draw a card. Then I will draw for turn. All right, I'll play a forest. I'll pay 3, and I'm going to cast 1,000 Moons Infantry. So this is one from Lost Caverns of Ixalan here. So 2/4. It untaps during each other player's untap step. Then I'm going to pay 1 and 2. Blue and green. I'm gonna cast Psionic Gift, targeting 1,000 Moons Infantry. So this is an aura. It gives it the ability to tap and deal damage to a creature or player.
No.
It doesn't have haste, right?
It does not have haste.
This is fine.
Sacrifice this treasure for blue, and we'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 6. I'm gonna cast a Thunderhead Squadron, half convoked. It's just a 3/4 flyer. And then we're going to go to combat, and we're going to send the Prophets at Dave and the 5/4 at Pez.
I'll be having to take 5 here.
I have no blocks for a 3/3. I will take 3 and go down to 14.
And then I'll pass.
Okie dokie. Hoping for just the nuts right off the top. I'm going to play a forest.
I wonder what you need that forest for.
I think we're just gonna have to move to combat and send our 8/8 trampler Derek's direction.
That's 9/9, right?
9.
A 9/9. You are so right. Thank you. It is.
I'll go to 16.
Sorry, I'm so sorry. I didn't recognize your game. Uh, and I will have to pass from there.
We'll untap, upkeep, and draw. I'm gonna cast this little instant at sorcery speed here. Everyone's favorite thing. I'm gonna cast an Infuriate on my Mr. Rhinoceros. So he's gonna get +3/+2 until end of turn. And from there, Mr. Rhinoceros will come Derek's way.
All right.
Doubling his power to being 5. Or
to
10.
10.
Sorry.
I'll block with this Selesnya Evangel. So 1/2.
I'm going to respond to blocks, and I'm going to cast this Tamir Battle Rage.
I'm probably just dead then.
Is that what
Now
we're
is the
doing
time.
now?
Now is the time to save Derek.
I'm gonna. Do I want to save Derek?
I don't know, man.
I don't think I have a good way to kill other people, but also I'm terrified of Derek. Yeah, I'll see what happens. I'm gonna spend 2 mana and tap. I won't tap the treasure. I'll tap Goggles of Night. I'm gonna cast Disruption Protocol. I'm gonna try to counterspell the Battle Rage. We'll see.
I got nothing for that. Battle Rage goes to the bin. I will then play this Forest as land for turn, and I'll pass the turn.
Untap. Upkeep, draw. I do the fancy island. I'll play the snow-covered island. The first and most important thing I have to do is spending 3 mana to cast a Howling Golem. This is a 3 mana 2/3. Whenever it attacks or blocks, each player draws a card. I'm going to cast Artful Dodge on the Duodrone. We'll make the Duodrone unblockable.
Yeah.
We'll send these. These two can go towards Derek. The Duodrone can go towards Pez. What does Oblivion have? Rutstein, the insect. What's in the middle?
The capybara.
Capybara. So if I spend a blue mana to give the Tandem Lookout flying with Defy Gravity,
And you're good
then I will attack you with a Tandem Lookout.
for 2 whole DiMaggios.
All right, I'll take 3.
I'm taking 2.
Everyone make a treasure. Oh, I have a million triggers. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll loot off the looter core. I'll draw and discard. I'll discard an island.
Yeah.
And then I'll draw Soulbound, looter, last thought. So I'll draw 4 cards. That's arguably too many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Discard an island and a Secrets of the Key. I'll move to
Okay.
end step to discard. Down
And
7.
I'm gonna activate my Lord Zombie and Surveil. I'm gonna put Sprouting Renewal in the graveyard. Then I'll tap my Prophets and we'll reveal a top card. It's a Conclave Failing. I'll draw that.
The worst one.
And then I'll go to my turn. So 1 tap, 2 triggers. I'll gain 2 life, go up to 15, and I'll draw a card. I'll draw for turn. I'm gonna play a Forest to start. We'll pay a green, and we'll tap these guys, these Knuckleheads again. Actually, we'll tap all of my Knuckleheads. So it's 7 mana, 8 mana. I'm gonna cast a Kavu Primarch Kicked. So it's a 3/3. If you pay the kicker, enters with 4/1/1 counters on it. Good stuff. Let's see. So we're gonna attack with Thunderhead Squadron at. We're gonna send the Scarlet Prophets and the Martyr Soul at Pez, and we'll send the Squadron at Oblivion. So 3 in the air at Oblivion, and then 8 on the ground at Pez. Then I'll tap this and deal damage to a good target is Oblivion to the dome, 1 damage. And then I will pass my turn.
I will untap, upkeep, draw.
And I untap too.
I'm going to move to combat, and I'm going to attack Dave with my Dusk Shell Crawler,
A block.
and Derek with my 9/9 Trampling Elemental.
First, I will pay 1. Or I'm not going to pay 1. I'm going to tap 1 creature to do 1 damage to the elemental, and then I'll pay 5 mana. So tap 4 and the treasure for 5. I'm going to cast Gleam of Resistance. So I'm going to give all my creatures +1/+2 until end of turn and untap them.
Oh, beans.
Stinky.
On the stack, I'm going to activate Skyward Eye Prophets and reveal a top card. It's a Spirited Companion, 2 mana,
Puppy.
1/1 draw card. I'll put it in my hand.
What the dog doing?
And then we'll untap all of my creatures. And they'll have +1/+2. I've got 2 triggers here. 1 for Disciple, Sphinx Disciple, 1 for Sun Guide. So I'll gain 2 life, go to 17. I'll draw a card. All right, and now I will go to blocks. So me and Dave are both blocking. I think Dave is first in priority to block. Is that right?
I block.
Okay, and then I will block. This is what, an 8/9 now? Yeah, I'll block with my Kavu Primarch.
Okay. Before damage, I will murder that fellow.
Wow. In response, I'll deal damage to you. It's your punishment for that.
I feel like I just got spanked.
And then I'll take 9. Well, I guess before on the card blockers, we still all draw a card from the Howling Golem.
Yep.
Yeah.
Doesn't stack, so draw works for me. All right, so I take 9. I go to what am I at 17? So I go to 8.
I'm gonna pay 2 mana and I'm gonna cast a Blood Briar. Whenever I sacrifice another permanent, I will put a +1/+1 counter on it. I will then sacrifice 2 of my 3 treasures, putting 2 +1/+1 counters on my Blood Briar to cast a Nature's Lore. So I'll put this forest into play. I will pass my turn, and I have no cards in hand, and I'm at 17 life.
On the end of your turn, honey, I'm going to pay for and tap my Bonder's Ornament to draw a card. And then I'm going to sacrifice my 2 treasures for a green and a red. And I'm going to tap these 2 swamps. And I'm going to sacrifice my Racer's Ring to draw a card. And then untap, upkeep, draw. This mountain as land for turn. I'm going to tap 5. And I'm going to play a Nylea's Forerunner.
Oh boy.
Say 5/3 with trample, and says other creatures you control have trample. Dave, I'm going
Yeah.
to move to combat and attack you with a 4/4 with trample.
I'll block with Howling Golem.
Sounds
Everyone draw. Before damage, I'm going to make my Howling Golem dreadful as the storm. Target creature has base power and toughness 5/5 until end of turn. The ring tempts you. I'm going to have the ring tempt this Duodrone. It now has Skulk. It cannot be blocked by creatures that have greater power.
Alrighty. Well, it's Mr. O's dead. Main phase. I'm going to cast this boarding party that I
Thought
just.
for sure you were going to cast Mr. Orfeo.
It's a 6/3 with haste and has
Mhm.
Cascade. I definitely
Oh,
don't want to
no.
cast this downhill charge. Unfortunate. These will both go on the bottom of my library in a random order, and I will pass the turn.
Untap, upkeep, draw. What looks like the springtime version of the Bloomburrow Island. I'm going to spend 3 mana to cast a Prying Blade
Wait.
and equip it. This is another equipment. The creature is going to get +1 power, and whenever it deals combat damage to a player, create a treasure token. I'm going to put it on Duodrone. Duodrone has Skulk. Let's turn things sideways. Duodrone is for Pez. I'm going to send both looters at Derek. I'm going to send both of the artifacts at Oblivion. Is it time for Tandem Lookout to stay home? I think it's time for Tandem Lookout to stay home.
So we got a couple triggers.
So everyone's going to make a treasure and draw a card as an attack trigger.
On stack, I'm going to surveil 1 with my larger zombie. Put this island into the graveyard. I'll do it again. Put this island into the graveyard. All right, and I'll draw a card.
I will block the Golem with my 1/3, and they'll bounce off of each other.
Okay.
And then I'll take the
3
3.
from the robot.
Yeah, and I'll go to 14.
I'll deal 1 to
Okay.
your looter, Dave. But I'll take 2 from your commander.
Looter down.
So 6.
If the looter is going down, that actually changes some things for me. Because now I'm not soulbound anymore, which means I'm going to ninjutsu in a Moonsnare Specialist
Yeah.
instead of this Marching Duodrone.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not going to take the 3 from the Duodrone. The blade's going to fall off. Not
Mhm.
going to be... I'm going to put my ring back on. Nothing is ring-centered anymore. So you'll just take 2 damage from this. But as it comes in, I will bounce a creature and I will soulbound it to the lookout. So I'll still draw a card off it connecting. What am I going to bounce? I think I got to bounce the boarding party. I want to see Cascade work. We're going to give you another chance at cascading. Okay, so I'll bounce there and then damage will happen. I will draw 1, 2, 3 cards. I will choose not to move Mantle of Tithes. Seems prudent to recast a Duodrone. Move to my end step where I will begin discarding things.
I'm going to activate my commander and reveal a top card. It's a forest, goes to the battlefield.
I'll discard 2 islands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 2 islands and Una's Grace.
I'm going to untap
Oh,
on my
thank you.
turn. I'm going to untap, I'll gain 2 life, go to 8 from Morisco Sun Guide, and I'll draw a card from Sphinx's Disciple. And I'll draw for turn. Play a forest. First, we're going to pay 2, cast a Spiriting Companion, draw a card. Gonna pay and tap these 5, 6. I'm gonna convoke a Conclave Equinox, so it's a 3/3 flyer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Convoke a Conclave Phalanx.
That's the one that I really want to not resolve. Yeah, I'm going to try to counterspell it.
It's just countered. I'm gonna tap this, deal damage to Tandem Lookout.
Surely I've earned that.
I'll pay a green and cast Mobilize and untap all my creatures.
I don't know if I've earned that.
Everything untaps. I'll gain 2 life and draw an extra card from my things. So I'll go up to 10, draw a card. Pay 3, 4. I'm going to cast Temporal Cleansing. So this is a convoke spell. The owner of target non-land permanent puts it into the library second from the top or bottom. The elemental.
My boy.
Pay 4. Cast a Ledev Guardian. So it's just a 2/4 vanilla convoke guy. I will tap Thousand Moon's Infantry and deal a damage to Dave, right to the dome.
Down to 13.
And then I will pass turn.
We're going to crack a treasure and put a counter on the Bloodbriar to cast a greedy freebooter. Whenever it dies, I get to scry one and make a treasure. In an attempt to stay alive, I will just have to casually pass the turn.
I'm going to untap. We'll go boarding party.
Mm-hmm.
So let's cascade. See what we get. Map swamp. Curse of the Werefox. Create a monstrous roll token attached to target creature you control. Then when I do, it fights a creature I don't control. So I will put a monstrous roll token onto the elemental, a 6/4. I will fight the tapper that has taps to deal a damage to.
Sure. I'll sacrifice a treasure and pay green and cast ephemeral shields and make it indestructible this turn.
Oh, for sure.
So they fight Butao.
Go ahead and tap 6 mana and cast Mr. Rhinoceros. I'm at 6. I'm at 6 life.
Correct.
I'm going to move to combat and double boarding party's power, and I'm going to come at Derek for 12 with trample.
Going to surveil with my larger zombie. We'll double block with these two. Martyr Soul and Lead of Guardian. So it's still 8 toughness.
Yeah, I'm going to respond to blocks, and I'm going to tap my Ponder's Ornament for a green and sack my treasure for a black. And I'm going to infuse with Vitality my boarding party. So until end of turn, target creature gains Death Touch, and when this creature dies, return it to the battlefield tapped under its owner's control, and I get to gain 2 life.
Tap this and deal damage to your face, and I will die.
After that, I will pass my turn.
I'm going to start with land for turn, because that seems wise. We're going to put a prying blade on the rat. And now that I don't have a Looter Il Core, just drawing me all kinds of cards, I think it's time to finally use this Goggles of Night. That also seems like it's good on a rat. Yeah, okay, the Golem, as promised, is headed for Oblivion. I'll send the rat, which is currently a 3/3. Yeah, we'll send the rat at Pez.
I will block with my booter.
Yes.
And, well, I guess when he attacks, we draw a card first.
There's an attack trigger.
And then he dies, and I make a treasure, and then I scry. I'll put that so far down on the bottom.
I'm going to see if I can move in for the kill on Pez. I'm going to cast Zalfirian Shapecraft, which, if it resolves, is going to transform his base power and toughness into a 4/3, which, with all the equipment, makes him 6 power.
I would live at 1 because I was at 7.
You were at 7?
I
Oh,
was
because you
at
gained
7
life
'cause
off
I
of that
gained
thing.
2 life. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Oh, this is bad news, chat. Uh-oh. One of these days, I'm going to learn how to do math. Please live at 1 life, just like I planned.
I will do
I
that.
will
If you will.
I will draw a card off the Shapecraft, toss that into my hands, and then when it connects, I will draw a card off the rat, scry one and draw a card off Goggles of Night. I will draw a card off of Last Thoughts, and I will make a treasure. And then I will start thinking about how I survive. I'm going to move to discards, and I'm going to discard 3 cards. One of them is going to be Mystic Sanctuary. I don't need to draw more cards, so I'll discard Latchkey Fairy. I think it is time now to discard I'll discard a Night Horror Hermit. That'll be it for me. I'm finished.
Alright. Untap, upkeep, and draw. Play a swamp. I will sacrifice 2 treasures, putting 2 counters on my Bloodbriar to cast a Golgari Signet. How big are your untapped creatures, Dave?
2/2.
I will swing at you with my Bloodbriar and my Capybara, which now has Descend. So my Capybara is a 4/3, and my Bloodbriar is a 7/8 with Trample.
I'll block the rodent,
Okay.
and I will take 7. I'll go down to 6 life.
And then I will pay 1 and my Signet of the Golgari variety. And I will cast a Black Snag Buzzard, and it will enter the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter on it if a creature died this turn. It doesn't say that it's a creature I control. Okay, that's all. Have a wonderful time.
I'm gonna untap. I'm going to upkeep and draw. Play this forest as land per turn. Dave's at 6 and Honey are at 15. I'm going to tap 4 mana and I'm going to play a Frenzied Arnix.
That is Riot?
It has Riot. It says this
I love
creature
that
enters the
card.
battlefield with your choice of a +1/+1 counter or haste. I will have it enter with haste. I will then use its ability twice to give it +3/+0 until end of turn, so it'll be a 9/3. And then I'm going to move to combat and double its power.
You have an 18/3 cat.
18/3 cat coming at Miss Oblivion, and then everything else coming at you, Dave.
Oh, yeah.
And it's an
Yeah.
18/3 with trample.
Trample. Yeah.
So I will triple block this pissed off cat.
I'm going to try and play 2 spells that are the exact same spell. I'm going to try to cast Blink of an Eye and Into the Royal, targeting the Pirate and the Rhinoceros. I almost said the Elemental, but if I bounce the Elemental, then Oblivion doesn't take any trample damage, and I do want that trample damage to happen.
Frenzied Arnix just has trample itself.
Oh, it has trample naturally.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. In that case, I would like to bounce the Elemental and the Pirate, and I will take
Okay.
2 from a Rhinoceros.
This is the worst trade deal in the history of trade deals.
Do I get a turn?
That's all for me, folks.
I get a turn. I'll play a land. I know that Sniffhouse is going to watch this later, and when he does, I want him to see this board state. So that's a scare tiller. But then I am going to attack Oblivion with a rat and Golem, and I'll attack Pez with a Duodrome.
I get both of them? What the hell? I thought we were
Wow.
friends. I'm only at 4. He's at like 1.
It is because we are friends that I'm respecting you for 5 damage, and I'm respecting Pez for 2 damage.
Okay, well, I'm
So
respectfully...
But everyone
draw
draws
and make a
first.
treasure first.
Everyone draws and makes a treasure.
I'm at 4, and Dave's at 4, and you're at 1.
Is there just one creature coming at me?
It is this marching Duodrone.
I'm going to try and lightning bolt it.
I'm gonna try and negate the lightning bolt.
Yeah, that happens.
Double dead!
I was